Somewhere in the Kalahari Desert, a man drops to his knees in the sand. He doesn't hesitate. He knows exactly where to dig. 2 feet down, his fingers find it. A small, round object sealed with dried grass and beeswax. He lifts it out, dusts it off, removes the plug, and drinks. He buried that flask 6 months ago. The flask is an ostrich egg, and the system he's using, a buried water cache along a hunting route, is approximately 60,000 years old. So here's the question. Before that egg, before clay pots, before wells, before buckets, what did humans actually carry water in? For most of human prehistory, the answer to the water problem was simple. You lived next to it. Rivers, lakes, springs. Your range was your walking speed. Get thirsty. You turned back. Every migration traced a waterway. Humans were essentially tethered. Then something changed. The first containers weren't made. They were found. A hollow gourd, an animal horn, a coconut shell, a tortoise shell cupped in 2 hands. These objects didn't require invention. They required noticing. Someone picked one up, filled it with water, carried it somewhere. That was enough. But natural containers broke, rotted, ran out when the season changed. So early humans started looking at what they killed. After a large animal came down, nothing went to waste. The skin, the bones, the organs, the bladder and stomach of a sheep or goat are naturally waterproof, flexible, big enough to hold 10 liters. The earliest pictorial evidence of water skins comes from ancient Assyria, around 3000 BCE, where they appear in carvings as river floats, used to cross water. Not just carry it, but the water skin almost certainly goes back much further, because by 60,000 BCE, someone in southern Africa had already built something better. The ostrich egg is in many ways the perfect flask. It holds about 1 liter. The shell is thick, more durable than clay, lighter than stone, naturally waterproof. The sand people of the Kalahari developed a method. Drill a small hole in the top, drain the contents, fill it with water, seal the hole with a plug of dried grass and beeswax. The egg can then survive months buried in the ground without leaking, and that's exactly where they put them, buried, along hunting routes, scattered across hundreds of kilometers of desert, each egg marked with geometric engravings, patterns unique to its owner, a filing system, a supply map, an entire infrastructure network, all made from eggs. In 2010, archaeologist Pierre-Jean Texier of the University of Bordeaux excavated Diepkloof Rock Shelter in South Africa's Western Cape. His team found 270 ostrich eggshell fragments, dated to approximately 60,000 years ago. Some fragments showed signs of forced entry, holes drilled in exactly the same way the sands still make them today. The world's oldest confirmed water container? 60,000 years old, still in use. So here's the story most people would tell. Humans started with what nature gave them. Gourds, horns, skins, shells. Then, around 20,000 BCE, they started making their own. The world's oldest pottery fragments come from Xianrendong Cave in China. Not made by farmers, but by hunter-gatherers. Still moving, still improvising. Eventually, clay vessels spread. Around 9000 BCE, functional water pots became common across the Near East. Permanent wells followed. Cyprus, around 8500 BCE, then settlements, then aqueducts, then pipes, then a tap in every room. The bucket arrived. The problem was solved. A steady march from the ostrich egg to the kitchen sink. Neat, linear progress. That's the story, right? Well, not quite. Go back to those buried eggs in the Kalahari. Look at them more carefully. That isn't a man carrying a bottle. That's a man operating a supply chain. The buried eggs don't follow random instinct, they follow routes, known routes, walked by the same communities across thousands of years. The engraved ownership marks aren't decoration, they're records. The beeswax seal isn't folk craft, it's engineering. The sand people were running a long-range water logistics network across one of the harshest landscapes on Earth. They had been doing it for approximately 60,000 years. They were still doing it in the 20th century. Until they weren't. Here's what the bucket to tap story leaves out. Every container humans ever built extended one thing: range. Range from the river, range into the desert, range across the steppe. The container didn't follow civilization, it enabled it. Every trade route that crossed a desert assumed a water container. Every army campaign assumed a water container. Every city ever built away from a river assumed that someone had already solved the carrying problem. The Sahara, 10,000 years ago was wet, grasslands, lakes. Then the rainfall patterns shifted and it dried. The communities that survived were the ones who had mastered portability, who knew how to cache water, how to read the terrain, how to move without a river at their side. The ones who hadn't retreated, stayed tethered. The container wasn't a convenience. It was the difference between expansion and extinction, where underground moisture pooled after rain, which sandstone formations held water for weeks after a storm, where, exactly along each route, the buried eggs were waiting. That knowledge lived in the community. Then colonization arrived. Between the 19th and 20th centuries, European settlers systematically removed sand communities from the Kalahari, forced relocations, resettlement camps built far from the desert's water geography. The land, and everything buried in it, became inaccessible. The infrastructure wasn't pipes, it was knowledge. Where to dig, whose egg was whose, which route was safe in the dry season. And when the people were separated from the land, that knowledge didn't transfer. It dissolved. Today, an estimated 100,000 sand people remain across Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, and Zambia. Most have been moved from the Kalahari Reserve. The exact landscape their logistics system was built around. The pipes came, the buckets came, the taps came. And the most quietly sophisticated water system humans ever built quietly stopped. Return to the man in the sand. He still knows where the water is. He still knows how to seal the egg. He still knows the route. All of it is still in him. Every tap ever turned on is the descendant of something someone once carried on their back. Every city sitting away from a river is a bet that the carrying problem had already been solved. Humans didn't conquer thirst. They just kept finding new vessels to move the answer around. The gourd, the bladder, the clay pot, the amphora, the bucket, the pipe, one long chain stretching back 60,000 years to a man kneeling in the sand. He still knows where the water is, he just can't get to it anymore.